Who is Kamala Harris? ABC News put out this report this morning. We'll have a link in the description to the full video. We will not show the entire video here. One of her accomplishments I like is that she took on Jamie Dimon and the big banks back during the housing crisis and got $20 billion for people who lost their homes to foreclosure when Jamie Dimon and others were offering only $4 billion. So I know she'll be fighting for the little guy. Some of the questions I have are, what is her stance on the inflation and the shrinking dollar and the printing of money in this country? And will she have anything to do with stopping it in the future if she's elected president? Also, what is her stance on Bitcoin? Is she going to go after Bitcoin and cryptocurrency like Elizabeth Warren, who, by the way, just endorsed her? I encourage you all to email her at the White House, link in the description, to ask her the questions that you have and what you want to see from her if she's elected president. Maya, Kamala's sister, is an American lawyer, public policy advocate, and writer, and Harris was one of 3 senior policy advisors for Hillary Clinton, and this is from Wikipedia. We will show the rest of the ABC report now, and please remember to subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate our subscribers, and please click on the notification bell, share, and comment on where you're watching from.
Voters reacting to the news.
I think for her to carry the torch makes sense.
My biggest thing is making sure that Trump doesn't get in the White House. But I really want to know, too, what her policies are. That's the big thing for me.
Harris preparing for her biggest moment yet, as she seems poised to become the first Black woman and Asian American to lead a major party ticket. She's been a trailblazer throughout her 30-plus years as a public servant.
I will be the first, but I will not be the last. You know, I was raised by a mother who said that to me all the time.
She's now racked up endorsements, including former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The newly launched Harris campaign raising a record $81 million in the first 24 hours. As she steps into the spotlight, Harris will face criticisms of her past from both Republicans over issues like immigration and Democrats, wary of her time as a prosecutor and her sometimes bumpy public persona.
I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those 3 circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people, you agree with me, right? We did it, Joe.
Some may think of Harris in the context of her memorable moments and comments that have gone viral.
My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
This moment, once again, flooding social media.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Pop star Kesha even releasing a remix of her song Blow, featuring Harris.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Dance. She's famously been portrayed by comedian Maya Rudolph on SNL.
The Democratic Party needs to stop taking Black women for granted. Specifically one Black woman. Me.
To her husband Doug and stepchildren, the 59-year-old political veteran is Kamala.
And I've had a lot of titles over my career. And certainly, Vice President will be great. But Kamala will always be the one that means the most.
Her story began in the San Francisco Bay Area, a first-generation American born to an Indian mother and a Jamaican father who divorced when she was 6. For Harris and her sister Maya, their mother, Shamala, a breast cancer researcher, was their North Star.
Our mother was fierce in her belief that you will be judged based on your actions, not your words.
Her mother raised her and Maya as Black women, because that's what they were. And it was a very intentful upbringing, and Kamala really, was proud of it.
A formative experience was being bused to school, something she talked about during a 2019 debate.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the 2nd class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Every school day of the year in Berkeley, the buses move almost 3,500 children across town.
To be able to be bused and go into this other environment, it transports you into a whole nother little, universe. It just expands your mind. If the bus driver needed to say something and the kids were talking, Kamala would make sure, people tamped down so that everyone can listen to what the bus driver was saying.
Is that to be on TV? Yes, please.
I recall her saying that she wouldn't be senator if she hadn't had that opportunity.
She went on to study at Howard, a historically black university, where she was on the school's debate team, preparing for her law school at UC San Francisco.
She did the work. There was nothing given to her. And it was hard. She was one to not let anyone tell her who she was.
She worked her way up the political chain, first as deputy district attorney in Oakland in the 1990s, prosecuting gang violence, drug trafficking, and sexual abuse. In 2004, she became the first woman in San Francisco's history to become district attorney. She was later elected California's Attorney General, the first female and person of color in that position, before going on to join the U.S. Senate in 2017. At the time, she was only the second black female to become a U.S. Senator.
I intend to fight. I intend to fight for Black Lives Matters. I intend to fight for truth and transparency and trust.
Harris became known for her work on the Judicial and Intelligence Committees, with a strong stance on civil and abortion rights, which she grilled future Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh about during his nomination hearing.
Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now, Senator.
In 2019, she too ran for president.
Sick of this? Well, think about this.
Taking aim at Donald Trump in this campaign ad.
He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together.
On the debate stage, she got tough with Joe Biden.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country.
Joe Biden then tapping her as his running mate in August 2020. Harris's debate skills were put to the test against Vice President Pence.
Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well,
I'm speaking.
Her 2020 victory, another first.
And to the children of our country, regardless of your gender, our country has sent you a clear message. Dream with ambition, lead with conviction, and see yourselves in a way that others may not, simply because they've never seen it before. But know that we will applaud you every step of the way.
As vice president, Harris has taken the lead on the abortion rights issue following the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade.
America must trust women. America must honor individual choice. America must defend freedom.
In 2021, President Biden tasking Harris to lead diplomatic efforts with 3 Central American countries to address the root causes of migration. The White House praising her work, but Republicans have hit her hard on the immigration issue.
Kamala had one job, and that was to fix the border. Now imagine her in charge of the entire country.
In 2021, after Harris was criticized for not visiting the southern border yet as vice president, she remained cagey in her response to NBC.
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border.
In her very first overseas trip as vice president, she told Guatemalan migrants to not come to the U.S., drawing criticism from immigration advocates.
Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border.
While Republicans had previously hammered Biden for his age, the script has now been flipped. At 78, Trump is now the oldest presidential nominee in history. Trump reacting to the campaign shakeup on his Truth Social, posting a series of seething messages saying he will now have to start all over again. Trump himself was once a supporter of Kamala Harris. He donated $6,000 to her 2014 campaign for re-election as California Attorney General, including this check for $5,000. Harris heading to Wisconsin to campaign on Tuesday.
We have doors to knock on. We have people to talk to. We have phone calls to make. And we have an election to win.
Ready with her own message.
we willing to fight for it? Yeah! And when we fight, we win.